Alrighty, so I wanted to talk about getting prepared for not assault mode, Traitor Meliodas, because there's some new stuff because he is a brand new typing that you might want to sort of prepare for a little bit. Like normally I would be like, oh hey, make UR gear for him, or get your gems together, do whatever you need to do, and UR gear is important. But there's been several melees at this point that have been pretty good. So if you don't have UR gear for him by now, you probably should make some UR gear, because there's several melees that you can get use out of the UR gear for. Personally, that's sort of my whole opinion on the thing. Like if it's a character that is going to have more than one unit that you could potentially get use out of, making UR gear is normally a pretty good bet. And just in case you're wondering, the UR gear that I am going to be giving my melee is an attack crit damage set, which is actually kind of funny because for the longest time I have been using the set that is on my assault mode at the moment, which is a full attack defense set, and I have solid 15% rolls on every single piece. I've tried to make sure that this is like one of the maxed out, like most maxed out sets that I have, but because it's defense, I was like, well, we probably should go ahead and make him an attack crit damage set, because I've been using this set since Lost Fane came out, and even back then I should probably have had crit damage on my rolls instead of defense, but these are okay. They give you a little bit of extra CC because of the defense stats, which is kind of nice. Like you can see that assault mode's at 61k, which is pretty solid. Obviously he's missing a haircut, or no, not a haircut, a weapon. But yeah, I have made this set right here, which is going to be my set for him. I obviously haven't finished all of the rolls. Some of them are, need to be done better than others. Like, some of these are kind of low, but all of that just sort of happens over time with anvils and everything like that. And because Melee's a pretty common character that gets new units and stuff like that, I don't feel bad in the slightest for having 2 UR sets for him. The only other unit that I think that I have UR sets for is Gother, and it's just because Green Gother is good for Grey Demon and Belmoths, and Red Gother is good for Howlix demons, and he used to just be really solid in general. Plus, when the new Festival Gother came out, I made an HP crit damage set that I pretty much just keep on Red Gother now, because I really don't use Festival Gother all that much, even though he's a good character. But I do have 2 sets for him now, which is pretty nice, I guess. Moving over though, I wanted to talk about the books in general. I'm using Nagato's stream as a reference here, but the big thing is you cannot craft these dark books unless you have the character. I did log into a JP account and try to see if you could exchange them and everything like that. It seems like the only way that you can craft these is by going into the character itself, and you can see there's a button underneath the little player right here. You click that button to exchange books, and it's a 3-to-1 ratio, so you have to exchange 3 of any of these type of books for 1 dark book. And to get him from 50 to 60, I can't remember exactly how many you need. He has it somewhere in here. I think it was right here, roughly. Well, you can kind of see it right here. He's exchanging some books and stuff. You need 10 of the 3-star, 2 of the 4-star, and 1 of the 5-star. Whereas after that, I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, I think it's just 1, right? 1 for each of the, yeah, it's just 1 of the 6-star books for each of the levels, from 60 to 65 to 70 to 75, all the way up to 90. So the big thing is it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So I know for me personally, I don't normally end up sitting on a lot of books. They're just not something that I just really ever have a whole lot of. I just exchange them when I need them, etc. So I think because Fort Solgris is on half stamina tomorrow, I am going to personally be running some of the I think they're in, it's either the enhancement dungeon or the no, it's the evolution dungeon. I always forget the name of those, but I'm going to be running the evolution dungeon a little bit throughout the day. While it's half stamina, I'll just burn some stamina pots and stuff like that, so I can farm up on these books, so that way I can make sure that I have enough, because it's more expensive to power up the dark units, because I'm gonna have to actually like do a 3-to-1 transfer for them. So just to make sure, that was one of the biggest things that I wanted to make this video for. Just a quick PSA, it is a 3-to-1 ratio on dark books. I'm assuming it will probably be the same for light books whenever a light unit comes out, but yeah, as it stands at the moment, this would only get me 2 books. This would get me 2 books, and then this isn't even a full book. So I'm gonna have to definitely grind up a little bit, because I think it's like 6 or so, or maybe it's only 5. What is it? 60 to 65 to 70, 80, 90, or 70, 65. 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. So it's 7 books that you need as far as the 6-star ones goes. So definitely make sure that you have all of those together. If you haven't gotten your Super Awakening coins and stuff like that, of course, run the Super Awakening coin dungeon if you have the clocks for it. Hopefully you do. Hopefully, I know that this is honestly a really weird time, because we literally just had the Festival King banner. Normally I wouldn't be worried too much about mats and stuff like that when it comes to units, because whenever a festival unit comes out, normally there's a decent little break in between, but it's just I don't know, it's just such a hype time at the moment that they were like, okay, let's go ahead and release another festival. So I do have, you know, all of the Super Awakening coins that I need, plus I've got some platinums if I actually need them. If you need to work on your gear and stuff like that, if you have extra anvils or extra hammers and stuff like that laying around, make sure you're using those to make sure you get your gear up and everything, if you're planning on using them in ungeared, which he's a really good unit overall, kind of like King is. Like, you can use him in multiple game modes. With his new typing and everything like that, dark typing can even be used in hell difficulty on all 3 or all 4 of the hell demons, which is actually pretty nuts. So he's going to be useful in a lot of different game modes. So you're probably going to want to have a UR gear set for him regardless of using him in PvP or not. I'm normally not the biggest PvP guy, but I'm going to make sure that I have an actual set for him by himself, so that way I don't have to worry about, you know, transferring my other melee over and everything like that. Obviously, that's more of a luxury thing if you're a newer player, or maybe you just don't, you know, have the time to grind out the mats and stuff like that, or, you know, whatever the case may be. If you don't have, you know, the resources to build multiple UR gear sets and stuff like that, I completely get it. You know, even just running the training dungeon and stuff like that to get these engraving stones and stuff like that to make gear can be a hassle in itself. So you know, do whatever you need to do to personally get your stuff like in order. Obviously, I don't think there's any sort of relics or anything like that that are really going to help him at the moment that I know of. So I wouldn't really worry about relics. Plus, those are, you know, pretty late game stuff as it is. I don't think, I mean, you know, if you have the Vanya Ale and stuff like that, make sure you're getting, I can't remember, we can actually look it up really quickly. I can't remember exactly what foods he uses, but it shows up right down here. He uses the herb grilled beef and honey pudding. Herb grilled beef, which is this one right here, which uses these 3 ingredients. If you need to stock up on any of that stuff that you can, so that way you can make sure that you go ahead and max out his affinity, because if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he gets a weapon from his affinity, which is going to be very helpful. So that way you get a little bit of extra attack. Even as a free to play, you don't have to buy the cosmetics or anything like that, but you'll just, if you max out his affinity, you get an extra weapon. I'm pretty sure it'll be a UR weapon, maybe? It might only be an SSR weapon because it's an affinity thing. I think it actually is an SSR, which is kind of unfortunate, but either way, having that extra weapon is going to boost your, you know, attack by just that much more. So make sure you do that. If you need to, I really like running the gold coin dungeons. That way I can get my sort of costume enhancement materials and stuff like that, so I can make sure that whenever I do buy his outfits and stuff like that, I can power them up to their max. But I mean, other than that, there's just a matter of, you know, making sure you have the pendants and such to actually power him up. So yeah, just make sure that you're doing a lot of the events and stuff like that in game right now, because obviously there's just a lot of stuff to be had. You know, there is, you know, the Hawk's treasure chest event, which gives you pretty decent rewards here and there. The final boss, Jericho and Gila exchange shop, has a pretty decent amount of rewards and stuff like that as well. And if I'm not mistaken, on reset for the Meliodas update, they will be resetting the normal Tower of Trials. And I know that a lot of those stages can be pretty difficult and you need like specific characters and there's weird gimmicks and stuff like that to them, which is probably going to be a pain in the butt to actually, you know, go back through all of those. But they do give you pretty good rewards. If you haven't already done the Forgotten Tower trials that they have going on right now, like the event, make sure you do this. It's really not all that hard and you get a good amount of rewards from it. So, you know, just make sure that you're stacking. I don't know, make sure you're grinding for that bread, gamers. So that's pretty much all I have to say. The biggest thing was just talking about the books, because that one's kind of new, kind of odd, you know, not everybody's gonna know that one. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this was at least a little bit informative. Just note that, you know, on Saturday and Sunday, which is New Year's Day and the day after New Year's, so Happy New Year's, because this is going to be uploaded a little bit early, but it might already be New Year's where you are. But yeah, Happy New Year's, and you know, it's going to be half stamina for Fort Solgris Saturday and Sunday. So make sure that you are grinding those, getting all of those mats that you need in order, so that way you're good whenever the update comes. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one.